Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Purpose, Power, Profits. Look, we're about to close the door on the telesummit portion of it, guys. But the superstar that's going to close the door for she's just that. You know what? Stacey's a rock star. I'm going to take superstar away. I'm just going to say she's a rock star because that's what she does, right? She teaches business owners how to become more influential, just media personality. She has a tribe, Blogalicious. I tell you guys, this is how I met her. The very first time I ever attended was in Atlanta, 2 years ago now? So I want to say it's 2 years ago now. 5-star, just everything is world class. Just coming from my background and experience in the military, just the structure, the flow, the discipline. She'll tell you, and I'll even tell you, the behind the scenes piece of it all is, you want to pull your hair out. It's chaotic, right? But what everyone gets to see on the days of execution, it is a phenomenal experience. I love everything that she does. The community welcomed me in. They made me feel like and here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, their community is primarily, right? The primary target are women, are female entrepreneurs, influencers, bloggers, podcasters, you name it. But they have welcomed me in just like I was just part of the family. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, just welcome in Stacey Ferguson. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thanks for being a part of it, man. So I tell you, I was talking to, as a matter of fact, I was talking to Julian, and I was saying, hey, Julian, I'm really looking for somebody who can really talk about multiple streams of income and things like that. And she goes, well, have you thought about Stacey? And I was like, oh my God, that is perfect. Let's get Stacey on board with this thing and see what we can work it out.
Julian, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm super grateful to have you on board. If you will, just tell the people a little bit about who Stacey is, a little bit of your story, how you started this thing from being an attorney to where you are right now.
Absolutely. So yeah, this was not planned, but sometimes some of the coolest, most exciting things happen when they're not planned, right? Mm-hmm. So I was an attorney. I practiced law for 10 years and I did corporate, technology, advertising law. But at the same time, I became a mom. I became a parent and wanted to find some place to kind of share my story and really kind of just talk about my day-to-day, right, in a fun and creative way. And so I stumbled across a thing called a blog, and I had never heard of one or known what to do with one prior to this. And this was 2006. So we're talking about the dinosaur days of blogging. And I started a mom blog with 2 friends. And who knew it was gonna explode and become this whole industry that, we all know today. And so just from that blog and sharing stories, being really genuine, transparent, it started to form a community because, people were leaving comments and being like, oh my God, that's so funny. This happened to me too. Or, tell us more about this. And I started to develop internet friends, which was a weird concept at the time, right? And I had 2 co-bloggers on the mom blog that we had all gone to law school together. And we said 2 things. The first thing was, wouldn't it be cool if we could bring together these folks that were meeting online and bring them into a space where we could share stories and kind of support each other? So that was the first idea. But then the second idea is because we were seeing that blogging was an industry that people of color mostly were not a part of. They were not getting access to the same marketing campaigns and opportunities to work with really cool companies. And we were like, well, why is that happening? And in doing some research, we discovered, it's because we don't have the visibility that we need. And so we came up with the concept for Blogalicious, which was going to be a conference that was going to both bring together the community in person, but then also connect the community with brands and companies so that we could really just lift everyone up and give our folks a platform. So that's how Blogalicious came to be. And oh my gosh, this is 10 years later. I can't even believe it. And since then, so many cool things have happened. I know we're going to get into it, but, I've done, things, as you mentioned earlier, as a social media personality and being a brand ambassador for different companies. I've also started to help other women entrepreneurs build their businesses. And I know we're going to talk about income, so I'll stop there for now.
All right. And look, guys, look, I know she's being very modest right now. I love her humility, but when she talks about being a brand influencer for some companies and major brands, don't get it twisted. These are major Fortune 500 companies, you know, Kia, Dove, Jack Daniels. The list just continues to go, guys. So don't let her sit here and think, you know, that it's just, you know, look, it's just not your mom and pop small business that she's representing, guys. She is representing some major power hitters out there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right. So, Stacey, you know, you're telling your story. So clearly, you know, you're an expert at this thing. You know, you are a thought leader in this space. And so, you know, I want to talk to you specifically about multiple streams of revenue. And I know a lot of people, you know, they probably heard of it. You know, it's difficult for them to conceptualize, like, what does that really mean? You know, how difficult or how easy could that be? What are some options? You know, just kind of talk us through, you know, a few that you've created over the years, and, you know, the simplicity or even the difficulty of it for people.
Sure. So here's the first thing, right, that I didn't know, like, you know how they say things you wish you had known earlier?
Right.
So I wish, you know, really starting back in college or even before, that we were taught to seek out multiple streams of revenue. And all that means is not relying on one singular employer or business idea to kind of fund your lifestyle. As we all know, things can be unpredictable. The market can go up and down. You know, the job you think that you're secure in may not be there tomorrow.
Right.
You want to build wealth and leave a legacy for your children. So all of those things come into play. And actually, I spoke to a class at University of Maryland about 2 weeks ago, and the topic was entrepreneurship as a viable source for building wealth, because we're not taught that at a younger age. And so what I've done over the last 10 years, honestly, I was really following passions, which is a totally cool route to take. But I was building businesses based off of things that I was interested in. Way back in the day, I was a wedding planner. You know, I designed a line of aprons for moms that I thought would be cool. Like, I tried all of these different business ideas really as an outlet for creativity, not necessarily realizing, hey, these are extra streams of income. And who doesn't want or couldn't use, right, a few extra dollars every month? And so over time, I started to become more intentional about it. And in learning the industry and doing more research, finding out, like, any millionaire will tell you they have at least 7 streams of income. So when I heard that number, I was like, wow, that's a lot of different streams. Right. But it's supposed to show you that you have to have your hands in a lot of different things, and you should not put all of your eggs in one basket. And so it can be as simple as, you know, if you're great in the kitchen, you know, catering or baking cakes for folks and selling that. Or it can be as big and complicated as, you know, starting a full-fledged company with employees. And there's a zillion different options in the middle. So now I'll just give you a real life example. I don't know if I'm at 7. It comes and goes, right? But the conference is one. Blogalicious, as we talked about. And the cool thing about Blogalicious is it actually is 2, probably even 3 income streams built into one. So I'm selling tickets, and, you know, so many of you guys watching this have your own events. So ticket sales is definitely a revenue stream. Also, I work with corporate sponsors, as Jay mentioned earlier. So the sponsorship revenue is another stream of income for me. And then through connecting the bloggers and influencers with brands, I do marketing and marketing campaigns. So marketing would be a third one for me. And then blogging, if you are doing sponsored content, can be another one. I also sometimes will do affiliate links in my content. Joint ventures, right? If I were going to be talking to Jay's audience about a particular topic and making an offer, we can share profit that way. Speaking and getting paid for speaking can be another one. So the really amazing thing is now, you know, with social media at our disposal and us all being content creators, there are really limitless opportunities to create these different streams. But then also, you know, on a personal level, my family and I moved to a new house 2 years ago, and my husband and I had a conversation. We said, what if we really tried and pushed ourselves to not sell our old house and to keep it and rent it out while buying the new one, right? And so we had to make some sacrifices and we had to budget, but we really felt important that we kept the old house so that we could now become landlords.
Yeah.
We were like, this is our opportunity to start the process of building wealth and creating legacy, hopefully that one day we can pass down to our kids. So we have tenants and we're first-time landlords, and it's really cool and we're learning a lot. But kind of looking at, this was not as scary as we thought.
Right.
And maybe there's more to be done here. So really looking at all of the different opportunities out there. Oh, one last one that I just learned about that nobody talks about is life insurance. So apparently, and we just did this about a month ago, life insurance can be used and is used by a lot of wealthy folks as an income generator, kind of just like investing in stocks. And so you want to do your research, right, in terms of whole life insurance versus term. But whole life insurance can really be an investment for you. So, it's an ongoing process. Every day I'm learning new things, but the important thing is to keep trying things and making sure that you're diversifying your different revenue streams.
Absolutely. So look, guys, I'm going to go back just a little bit when she talked about how millionaires have at least 7. And so I'll tell you what really blew my mind is a couple of years ago, Steve Harvey's inaugural Act Like Success conference, and Lisa Nichols and Steve, and they were all up there and they were talking about going for 13, and that's true wealth building, right? And I was that blew my mind. So I'm like, okay, I got to get on my grind, because if they think it's possible for them, then obviously it's possible for me. And it takes time. Of course, it takes time, everything that she's talking about, guys. And she's right. Like, so for me, I'm now officially a landlord. I've been a landlord for 10 days now officially, right? That I've been out here in California. It is definitely a challenge. There's some just attention to details, things you have to make sure are taken care of. Of course, you're taking a risk. Everything in life is you're taking a chance. It's a gamble. You might hit it right the first time, and it might take a few chances to get it perfect. But you can't be afraid to just add those different streams. And if you can get them all passive, that's another major piece. If you can get them just where they're passive and you're making money while you're sleeping or out enjoying time with your family, that is the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
Cool.
I love that you said passive. People talk a lot about sales funnels, product funnels, right? Customer funnels, all of those things. And it can seem intimidating. But I really encourage everyone who is a speaker, author, coach, content creator, as long as you have ideas, as long as you have a perspective on things, you can have your own funnel. And all that means is the passive income that Jay is talking about, right? What do people come to you for? What do they see you as an expert in? And all you need to do is create a series of products that kind of expand upon that topic area. And you want to make sure that you're answering questions and serving a need and addressing people's pain points. So, at a minimum, you have what's called a lead magnet, right? Which is a free item that you guys go to people's websites all the time. You get the pop-up, get the free download or the webinar or the training, whatever it is, right? And that's bringing your customer in off of the sidewalk into your store, right? And then you want to say, after that initial step, what is the next thing that they might want? What is the next stage of their problem that you can solve? And what can you offer them? And then you want to give them something low cost so that they can start to develop trust for you and your brand, right? And shell out just a little bit of money, not a ton. And then once you deliver on that and they're like, hey, this person really knows what they're talking about, and I'm really seeing some results from these initial 2 things that I've opted into, then you take them to the next step. And the goal is to get them all the way up to your funnel. Of course, everyone won't go all the way up, but that's okay, because as your products evolve, they become more of an investment. And so that's what Jay's talking about in terms of you can go to bed one night and then tomorrow wake up and you've got a few extra dollars in your bank account, because while you are sleeping, quite literally, people are opting in to the products and services that you have to offer. And if you can get that that, then that is a really, really big game changer. And I know folks who have like, dozens of those funnels running at the same time. I'm not there yet. It's on my list of things to do.
Right.
But it really is such an amazing opportunity to not only generate revenue, but to serve folks with what really is your God-given gift.
Absolutely. So, Stacey, I want to touch on something really quick. And I think a lot of people lose sight of this. And that is, if you're still, working for someone and you're 9 to 5, theoretically, they're paying you right now to learn how to be an expert at whatever that is. So it is possible that you can start to teach people what you're learning on your job and create an income stream from that. And I'm not recommending that you just, quit your job or anything like that, but you can start to build some of these income streams while you're still working 9 to 5. And at some point, if you decide to, optimize it and push the throttle forward, you can replace your current job income with what you're making outside. And then you can make some different choices because you've got options, right? So just kind of keep that in mind, guys.
You took the words right out of my mouth. In fact, I recommend that people keep the 9 to 5 and test out these ideas on the side, because you have that cushion, right? You have that source of primary income. I always say, treat your day job as your first investor.
Absolutely.
Both financially, where you can put away money and save for what the day comes when you can make the transition out, but also you made such an amazing point. Learning, like there's so many. I'm sorry. There's so many trainings and HR opportunities and conferences that your job may pay for and send you to that you can capitalize on and put that into your arsenal, right? In terms of information and being an expert. And so totally take advantage of that. And I really want to say, I had been doing Blogalicious on the side for 4 years while still working the day job before I transitioned. And I think it's important to share that because people think, oh, you just up and quit. And that is absolutely
like, look, we have some courage. We have some faith.
Courage, but
we're not crazy.
Exactly.
So one of the things I know is major for you is strategy, right? And so what are some of the strategic, things? I know, you talked about it in affiliate marketing, whether even influencer marketing. Kind of talk about that as a method that people can also use as well as they become more influential and thought leaders themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's the thing. I would say have some sort of platform, whatever it is. If it is doing podcasts, if it's doing YouTube videos, if it's having a blog, you need some sort of platform to share your content, because really what you're doing is positioning yourself as a subject matter expert. And it can be on whatever topic you want, right? It can be something as heavy as politics or something as light as style and fashion. Whatever it is, there are people out there who want to hear what you have to say. And they're looking to you as an expert. And so the key is being able to monetize that expertise and that content. The interesting thing is that there are companies and brands out there who recognize that you influence a certain circle of people, whether it's social media followers, whether it's folks in your local community, whether it's at your church or your PTA or what have you, you are an influencer. So it's up to you to discern what circles of influence you are most, revered in and respected in. And you can leverage that when it comes to brands and companies paying you to get their message out. So what you want to do is to make sure that the brand that you want to work with shares your same audience. So if they want to reach your audience, then that's when you know it's a match made in heaven, and it will make your pitch easier. So for example, for Blogalicious, most of the brands and companies I work with, they're looking to reach multicultural audiences. So it makes sense for them to partner with me because I'm giving them access to the markets they want to reach. And it's interesting because earlier you mentioned like Dove and Jack Daniels, right? And these are all brands that appeal to everyone. But the important thing to note that people don't necessarily realize is that the agencies and representatives within those brands that I work with, their sole task is to reach multicultural audiences. So I have to make sure that I'm aligned and helping them reach their goals. And Bloglicious is on a bigger scale, right? But maybe you have a smaller event, or maybe you have a blog. That is totally fine. The brands, especially nowadays, they are recognizing that quality is better than quantity in terms of how many followers you have. Mm-hmm. And the buzz magic word that I know you guys have all heard is engagement. So if you can get your audience to engage with you, then that by far is more valuable to them than having a zillion followers. Mm-hmm. So what that means is, are they commenting? If, Jay says, go buy this thing, will they go and do it? Will they reshare your content? Mm-hmm. Will people click on their stuff and drive traffic to the advertiser site? So all of those things are metrics for engagement. Those are the things that you want to pay attention to, because that's what marketers are really looking for.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize it, guys. I mean, this is something that I even struggled with. I would even say probably last year, is not focusing on how many people are following you. I had to realize, guys, that a lot of people, and I can't name names because I don't know exactly, but a lot of people might have 10,000, 100,000, even 1 million followers. But guess what? They probably bought those followers and the numbers look amazing, but they're, like, as she said, they're not truly influencing their audience to make decisions. They're not really helping that audience go through a transformation, whatever it is that their message is, right? So just don't get caught up in, hey, I only have, 500 followers or 1,000 followers. If 80% of your, if you're getting 800 of your followers of your 1,000 are actually engaging with you, you're influencing 800 people, right? So just keep that in mind.
I was at a conference once and they had a marketer, they were talking and they said, it's more important for a small, lesser known person to share their content and get retweets and engagement and comments, rather than having a celebrity who may have millions of followers share it and maybe 3 people like her comments, right? They're looking for a return on their investment. So that's really, really important.
Awesome. All right, guys, you have heard it here. Stacey Ferguson, Blogalicious, multiple streams of revenue. Look, it's not as difficult as you really think it is, right? I mean, everything that we do, it's going to take some work. It's going to take you doing your research, your study, and you launch it. And then once it's out there, it's probably not going to hit the target the very first time. If you hit the target the very first time, hey, congratulations, kudos to you, right? But I promise you, you're going to have to tweak. You're going to have to make adjustments. I'll even tell you guys, even with this particular project, right, we've had to make all types of behind the scene adjustments, whether it's with schedules and locations, me moving. And I'll even tell you this real quick secret, and I haven't shared this with a lot of people. A lot of this content, so if you're new, if you're just seeing this 6 months from now, a year from now, this is going to be repurposed for one of those passive streams of income that we were talking about, because now we're going to create a funnel, right? So it works, guys. I promise you it works. There's some really neat and creative things that you can do to make it happen for you. So again, Stacey, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time. You rock star alert, everybody. Stacey.
Oh, thank you. Back at you.
Yeah, Blogalicious. She is amazing, and I can't wait to see you in DC now.
Awesome. Me too. I'm excited for it. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right.